Hi folks, welcome back to Dino Bob's Building Blocks of Prehistoric Kingdom. Today it's Secrets of the Gizmo. Gizmo is the device that is defined as advanced edit in the hint you see here. Also comes with the control V, which is the advanced duplicate, which gives you a duplicate before you use the Gizmo. The Gizmo is a very powerful tool. It can be a little deceptive at times. You can see right now I have selected the whole of this group of three walls, and one of the four features of the tool is disabled, but it does let us use the other three. The free movement is pretty straightforward. It'll slide around on the planar surface. Very handily. Exit group to go back to where we were. And the rotational tool and the XYZ tool will function on the group as a whole. So if I select one of the arms, I can move it on that axis. But it has an additional function. You see the little colored bars here at the base that when I roll the cursor over them go white along with two of the arrows. That means that this tool will function in the plane defined by those two arrows. So this looks a lot like the free move tool, right? But if I press shift, it doesn't go up. If I go to free move and I press shift, it does go up. And back to the tool. Okay, so that works in with all three of these to move it in one plane, and it won't move in the other. So for example, if I pick this one, it goes up, it goes left, right, but I can't make it go back and forth. It doesn't want to go any deeper into the park, as it were. I don't know it's you, but I often find I accidentally end up clicking the little box at the bottom, getting both of them, and move things in a way I don't want. That often results in a bit of fussy work to get it back where it belongs. When I do that, I will often go to the X and click it, and that will negate what I just tried to do. We pick it again, go back to the tool because we want to look at the turning tool. Again, we see the three axis colors, the red, blue, green. And if you are on the circle, I've got it set at 45 degrees right now, it will rotate in that plane. If I pick the blue, come on. I didn't quite grab it apparently. It doesn't want to go in the blue. Why don't you want to go in the blue? Apparently it doesn't want to go in the blue. Well, tell you what. Let's take the percentage down and see if we can convince it. Nope. If we go to the red, it doesn't want to do that either. This is perplexing me. Okay, I think I've got why it won't do that. If I exit the group and select the advanced tool again, remember this is grayed out. The thing that's graying that out is I have taken this standard wood with the horizontal planks panel and rotated it over here. And that means it interferes with what this tool wants to do. So it doesn't want to turn that, probably because it can't resolve those two elements. And it doesn't want to turn that way because it can't resolve those. But it does resolve here. Okay? So let's select it, but edit group. Right? We've got edit group now. If I select a single element of the group and then select the tool, you'll see we've got all of the functions. And that also means we've got those rotational tools that we didn't have when we had the whole tool. If I select this element and we can do it, right? This is the one that's rotated. But now, because it's selected individually, it will work. If we select all, I guess do it with the button, shift clicks, and now I've got all three selected, and I activate the button, and now this is no longer grayed out. Also, we can now tilt the whole unit like we couldn't last time, and of course it still spins. All right, but now we have access to this. If all of these had not been, if none of these had been modified, they would be able to be scaled with the scale tool as a group. But since one has, we have to go into editing the group and select the whole group. And once we've done that, then we can scale things. So much like the moving tool, there are 3 axes, and you can stretch it in 3 axes. All right. But, and this is something a lot of people miss, there's a white square down here. If we select that, the whole group scales proportionately. This is a very useful thing for plants so they don't start looking weird on you. It works better for some of the walls and such like objects than others in terms of losing the proportions, right? As long as they're working together, that's great. But if we select a single element and go to the tool, if I pull the bar up, you can see individual boards are getting wider. Okay, so we're going to tell it we're going to accept that, and we come to this one, and if I pull the board up, 2 different things are happening here. One is the boards aren't any wider, but they're much longer. The other thing, and I'm going to switch tools here, is we went to moving from the middle. So tell it I want that. I come back to here, pick the move tool, and it moved from the base before we rotated it. And after we rotated it, it moves from the middle, at least along that axis. Right? So if we go back to this one and we choose the scale tool and make it wider, what you want to do is watch where the box is. If it's near an edge, it will move things from away from that position of the box. Right? The box is in the middle, so it goes in both directions. You can't even see what I did from this angle, and can't see what I did from this angle either. There we go. But you'll notice that once again, it's moving from the middle of the box. So one of the axes, normally the vertical axis, as you can see in the unmodified piece, the green one, is the one that will move only in one direction. There is one other feature of the rotation tool which is often overlooked. People focus on the circles, but if you let your cursor drift away from them, you'll see that the sphere grays out, and that is grabbable, and it will allow you to rotate in 3 dimensions at once. I think this is likely to have more specialized applications than most of the other versions of the tool, because as you can see, it's sometimes tricky to get. Oh, I see, it's locked on 10 degrees. Fix that. It's sometimes tricky to get it all lined up in all those axes when looking at it through the screen. So this is a tremendous amount of freedom. Among other things, it means you can take all the walls and, even without using the flat piece, turn them into flat elements. So this can be a very useful thing, I think, for certain construction builds. And not something, it's very easy to slip off those circles and into the sphere and accidentally do that. And that can be very frustrating in the middle of a build when you have trouble getting it back to line up exactly right with your on-grid elements. Anyway, so there is that. So that's most of the secrets of the Gizmo tool. You do have to watch when you're moving things, that whether you're editing the group as a whole or the collection of the elements in the group. Again, when you've rotated something and you try to edit the group, when you got the whole group and try to move it. Now it's going to make a liar out of me? No. Okay. It's just the Gizmo tool. There we go. That's what you should have been seeing, with the scale bar grayed out, because this one has been rotated. And any element that you rotate will create this situation. So I hope this is useful to folks. Just another tool tip. It's not full construction details, and it is, however, vital to when you're building modular buildings and want to do something unusual with some of the elements and not the rest. So pay attention to whether your tool is grayed out, whether you're in the group or trying to do the group as a whole, and it will save you a lot of frustration, I think. Anyway, thanks for dropping by. I'll have some more of these building blocks coming up in the rotation. But that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by.